Yo, what's up, guys? Stern here, and today we're gonna be talking about the CDL Seattle home series. So as you can see, I had the final placements pulled up. So I would say this event was, I wouldn't say clear cut, but I think I kind of just had an idea of who was gonna win. The team that I would say probably surprised me the most was London. I think that they subbed zero in for I think it was Jared. And I thought it was a really good move overall, just because of Zero's slaying power, and Jared hasn't really been the same these past few years, so I think that worked out really well for them. Um, but as you guys can see here, in first place we have the Chicago Huntsmen with now subbed in Pristini. I thought they looked really good. I also think that they're more comfortable in terms of uh, just like the twins being on the team, because like they already have that chemistry. And Scump, Formal, and Envoy haven't played with them, but I mean Envoy's for sure been like their best player. And I don't think with this roster, I don't really feel like they had an entry sub. Like, I mean, I'm sure one of these guys could do it, but I don't think they've ever really had an entry sub. I think putting Pristini in this lineup makes Arcides a lot more comfortable playing a sub because he's playing with his brother. So I think that helped him out a lot. Um, so moving down in the placements, um, New York. This is about where I expected them to finish. I think that this team just has a little bit more to kind of get over that hump. Like they just need to kind of fix their playstyle in a few certain aspects. Get better at S&D and Dom. I think that would help them tremendously. And then looking at Optic Gaming LA, Slasher, Dashy, Kenny, TJ, and Chino. Chino is like I don't know. I think he's the X factor for this team. Um, and if it's or not X factor, but like anchor sort of like he's very consistent, but he doesn't have that. I don't feel like he has that superstar capability that these other four players have. But I think if TJ goes off, they 9 times out of 10 they're probably gonna win the map. So I'm not surprised at this placement. Just what we saw from them last event, I feel like they should have been in the finals and get to watch much of the event. So I'm not sure how they lost, but I know they would have had to lose to Huntsman or Ravens here, obviously. So, and I mean, Ravens look good this week, and I'll give them that. So I'm not too surprised by this placement. I just thought they would be in a final again this weekend, like they were last weekend. Um, Moving down the list, LA Gorillas. They actually won a series, which is kind of, you know, that's pretty good. I think that as you guys have probably when this video is going up, you'll see that Spart is getting replaced for Saints. So I mean that'll be an interesting roster. I thought this roster was good in general. I just thought Spart had to play really well, and Vivid kind of had to show out. Like those two were the two for me that really had to play well for this team to win anything. Whether it's matches or the event in general, like they're not gonna get very far if these two players aren't playing well. Minnesota Rocket. This was actually. Hold on, let me check my time just to make sure. Um, this is actually probably the most surprising placement from this whole event, just because of the fact that this team at the beginning of the season was a contender for like top four. But as you see, they're tied for placements with the Gorillas. So, I mean, but then again, looking at this, people called it like an easy event. But you have Huntsman, you have Ravens, you have Subliners, and you have Optic. So I guess I'm not like incredibly surprised, but at the same time, I feel like this team, just based on how fundamentally well they played through the beginning of the season, I thought they would get a better placement. But at the same time, it's like um, you can only play fundamentally correct for so long, and then skill comes into it. And if you look at the players on some of these teams, there's clearly people that are more talented than the people on this team. Um, I will say Godorex is an absolute unit, and I'm pretty sure he's had a bad two last weekends. and that's probably why their placements weren't that high because their whole system's kind of built around him. So if he doesn't fry, this team doesn't win anything. But moving on with that, Seattle Surge at their own home series. That was something. Um, I did not really like the subbing in Pander for S&D and then having Enable and Respawn. I just think it's too. I don't know. I think you have your 5 players. You need 5 players that can play all 3 game modes. Like you don't. I don't know. I feel like that's a confidence changer for like someone like Enable because Enable just came out of the starting lineup and now he's back in it, and you're shoving someone in for him before he even has a chance to kind of like play S&D, which I know he's not the most renowned S&D player anyway, but I don't think it's a good thing to do that. But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they see it differently. But yeah, that's kind of just a pathetic like placement for the people on that team, and I've been saying that like all year. That's very, I don't know. I just don't think that should be happening. Moving on to Paris Legion, Lucas Shock, Stens, Kismet, Zed. This team is very spotty for me. I could see them getting this placement, and I could also see them getting like second or third, fourth maybe. Um, just because of the way this team is constructed. Like Zed is like an X factor. Like if he plays well, that's how he was last year on I think it was Reciprocity. Dens, I think Dens was a good pickup for this team. Um, I know there was a little bit of an AR issue in this team, and I'm not saying that's all of it, because I don't think it is, because I think Dens has always been more of like a flex player, even though he's probably better with an AR. But I mean, if Luca can only play main AR, then you kind of got to figure that out. But like the sub slaying power, like the beginning of the year, Kismet was going off and Zed was playing well, and Shocks was firing too. So I don't know if I'd necessarily put it on these two. I think that Shocks, Kismet, and Zed just need to, get back into form, and I think this team will be looking solid. Um, but like I said, this event was like kind of obvious. But if we're going in to look at the recaps, we're just gonna look at the recaps from probably 1 or 2 of these days. Chicago Lions from Paris Legion 3-1. Yeah, that's kind of expected. LA Gorillas almost beating the Royal Ravens. That's kind of surprising actually. This match, uh, I saw that. Um, I think it could have went either way. The New York Seattle, yeah, that's kind of yeah. Chicago 3-0 rocker. Not too surprised. They do that just about every time they play them. Royal Ravens, London or sheesh. Royal Ravens in New York 3-0. Yeah, I mean, all these things kind of make sense if you look at the actual matchups, but I mean, I think next event, some of these teams just need to like adjust a few small things, like subliners, and they'll be good for the next event. I'm not sure London can keep up this performance though, just due to the fact that some of the players on this team, I mean, they're all talented, but the practice they get, it's just like there's not really a league this year. It's more of online scrims, so it's I don't know. I don't think they put up the same performance, but I could be wrong. Alright, anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like if you want more like post wrap up placement things. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.